Hi everyone, this is Wes Watches Movies. I'm gonna do a few exposés on my interpretation of films and overall just what it's like to watch this many movies. Today we're going to attempt to watch all the Mission Impossibles in one sitting. So, wish me luck. Jimmy's in the open. Jim, the package is in the open. Some of the things I want to touch on is the cinematography, the camera work, the action, the beats, the acting. You know, just kind of an overall just sense and feel for the films. There's a lot of films that get missed by generations. I myself have a lot of films to go back and still see, but I'm gonna rewatch and work through at least 365 films this year, and so hopefully you'll join me on this ride.
Sarah, abort. Repeat, abort.
This is the second time
You read me.
the abort has been given, the abort command. Something I noticed already is there's a lot of Dutch. Dutch is when the camera angle is tilted slightly. And that can be used, a lot of times it's used to show you that something's off in the scene. But it's also used sometimes to just for shot composition to get kind of the best stuff in. So right now it's seeming like it's a little bit of both. It's showing that something's off. Here we go. There's a Dutch shot there. The camera's tilted about 45 degrees to the left. Funny. It's so funny. This is someone earlier on in Tom Cruise's career, and he's known for doing all his own stunts. I wonder right here if he did this one. One of the best stunts ever recorded. Back in the day. Action sequence is amazing. Run, get out of the way of the water. Here we have Ethan back from the failed mission. 4 a.m. Gun, passport, search of the money. There's a nice jib move here, which brings the camera up to a bird's eye and tilts down. He's showing his frustration. Failed mission. There's the chair that was dropped when the boss left to bail them out.
The other day we decoded a message on the internet from a check we know as Max.
Just want to point out here the change in computing. This is an old-fashioned email. And look at the just how basic it was back in the day. I mean, everything here they're doing is top notch, but look at that. The way the imagery was that we would need to see that we sent a communication. It's kind of romantic in a way to get to see the old and the computers as well. He's on a laptop here, but earlier in the movie, kind of the really large, old-fashioned, monitor, which was the tube back. And anyway, here we have a flashback scene.
I thought I was going to see Max.
I love this one.
No one sees Max. What the hell am I doing here? Allowing Max to see you and hear what you've got to say. Well, I don't communicate very well through a shroud. Well, if Max doesn't like what you have to say, you'll be wearing that shroud indefinitely.
Tom's doing so much. And he's got his face all covered up. I don't communicate very well through a shroud.
What can we do, Barnes? Put a guy at the airport. How many identities do you think Hunt has? How many times has he slipped past customs, and how many countries? These guys are trained to be ghosts.
I should answer that question. How many identities does Hunt have? How many times does he slip past customs, and how many countries? Interrupting this film for this breaking news, Ben Stiller fiercely defends Michael B. Jordan's Sinners' $61 million box office opening. We'll check it out. Hold on one second. In an X post that has now gone viral, actor Ben Stiller called out a critical headline about Sinners' performance at the box office. Actor Ben Stiller is in no mood to play when it comes to Ryan Coogler's critical hit Sinners that was released on Twitter, that was released on April 18th. On X, formerly Twitter. Let's see, is it? It's not rendering that. There we go. I wonder how long it'll be till we are no longer doing that. When they change the name of something. Ooh, look at the color change on that. Interesting. Blue on blue. Just for context, and I know this is all reversed, so I'll have to figure out how to sort that out later, but there's the original post. And sorry, but today's day and age advertisements are getting a little out of hand. That's crazy, y'all. Crazy. All right, now back to our original programming. Mission Impossible 1.
With that exceptional piece of work.
Love this line coming up.
You don't know what you're missing. This is the Mount Everest of hacks.
Y'all kidding yourselves. Even with top-of-the-line crypto, free access do 3.
Trigger can get it, right?
May take a little time.
What the hell do you mean, little time? That's not what Claire tells me about you.
Thinking machine laptops. I'm talking about the 6-8.
Let's talk here. So he says thinking machine laptops, artificial intelligence, and then he's talking about prototypes. Now this is like 20 years ago. Let's go to X-ray. Scene, casts, characters, music, trivia. Ooh, what do they have for trivia? Trivia game. That's pretty cool. There's so much. The world's changed so, so much in the time that I saw this film for the first time. But anyway, let me just get back to There's a blockchain called Ethereum, and there's something called a Ethereum virtual machine. So, you know, I'm of the mindset that this stuff was being used. This stuff was real and being used when this movie was filmed. And they're talking about it like it's real in the film. But I'm saying that 20 years ago, we had a Ethereum virtual machine that was already running, at a level that retail, most everybody out there is retail because they haven't had the time or the energy to do deep dive and research and understand blockchain or artificial intelligence. I mean, I'm just now scratching the surface of artificial intelligence, and that is, as it presents from my mother's side, oh, this stuff is very dangerous and could, real harm could be done. Well, Mom, this is a 20-year or 30-year past conversation. The stuff is real and dangerous, but that was 3 decades ago. So whatever we think we know in contemporary narrative, contemporary daily news, we are usually decades behind where, if not larger, behind where the actual reality of things are. So I'm very interested in that right now, and this is why I'm going to start this kind of reflection / review of cinematography and films. So anyway, hope you're enjoying this so far, and as we go along this ride, it's going to just get better and better. So thank you. Let's continue with the film. This is going to come a little bit out of left field, but I'm dyslexic and a nonlinear thinker. So I'm able to juggle a whole bunch of things all at once. And that's where I'm in my best, do my best work. But anyway, most people understand work to be where someone else pays you to do something for them. But I think in the coming years, most people are going to see what I've been researching for the last 5 years, is that the world is shifting now faster than ever. And I think 90% of the people are going to be entrepreneurs in the coming decade or so. I'm a futurist, and so I kind of get ahead of things a lot faster than my peers or contemporaries. At least the people that are in my circles now. And so anyway, I just wanted to share that. I'm cutting into this because I'm just going to be putting it all out there. AI is going to be doing so many things here soon that some of it will get lost and some of it will get picked up, and I don't really care which is which. I'm happy to just make the content. So anyway, if you're still with me, thank you for participating, and leave a comment below, like and subscribe, and all the bells and whistles. Look at these two little guys here. People are normally pointing above them for something else. I'm just pointing to something that's a green screen. I'm pointing about something that's just in the mirror, which is my little pull tabs for my fan. Ooh, cool it off. So anyway, yeah. Top of the morning to y'all. Just enjoying some coffee and happy to be back in my data loop. My dyslexia lets me use 2 or 3 or 4 devices at the same time. Same with my non-linear thinking. It's a multitask kind of stuff, walk and chew bubble gum, but that has been, I think, overused in the common zeitgeist and doesn't quite really capture what I'm trying to express. But let's give you a quick little nutshell. This will be the gold in the middle of the turd, if you will. Not to say what I'm doing is poop-like. My youngest son likes to call me the King Poopster, so it's a term of endearment. But yeah, I've always thought it was odd that I was around, I'm 50, call it 50 now, and that the beginning of the 1900s was the railroad, flight, cars, the standardization of the dollar, which don't get me started on the dollar. This isn't about that, but oh my God, is that a whole another 15 or 20 videos boiled down to it's just an idea that makes us all give up our time. But I digress. This is not about that. Today we're devoting our time to an impossible mission and a amazing collection of films that has gone over the top to set the bar higher and higher. So just to finish the last little thought was technology in an old-fashioned colloquial kind of way, they said doubles every 18 months. And I thought this in my juvenile years is that at some point every 18 months will snowball. That's the I can't remember the terminology for it, but that's the you could say bell curve, but that's wrong. Bell curve is thinking, the smartest and the dumbest and in the middle. But for technological terms, there's a point where it just goes and then it exponentially skyrockets. So we are entering the exponential age. I think we've been in an exponential age probably my whole life, probably for a few decades now, but that's been hidden from the masses. And so to keep the farce going where slave labor, which, hourly wage is slave labor in my opinion, and that's this is all for entertainment purposes. Nothing I say here is financial advice, and don't do anything with any of the information I say. Just take it with a grain of salt. But yeah, if technology, and fire is the very first technology that we've been, if you wind back the clock, man was a bunch of, I love the creation idea. I'm a firm believer in the creator, but to keep everybody in the conversation, there's the monkeys and there's God placed us in a perfect Eden, but then there's technology. And so fire is magic until we can explain it. All science is magic until there's explanation. I've done lots of deep dives in physics, and so I'm a big fan of physics now. But anyway, so if technology forever starts with fire and 18 months later is doubled, and 18 months later is doubled, and 18 months later is doubled, and 18 months later is doubled. So if you're getting my saying, at some point it's just going to go whew. And so we're at that time now. We're on the precipice of people being caught up. America's in the dark. America's been kept in the dark since probably the 80s, if not the early 90s, right when I was in high school. And that's a hard pill to swallow. I love this saying. If you've bought the lie, you won't accept the truth for free. Anyway, so yeah, technology is going to go real fast from, I got to pay the power bill, to everything's free all the time. Everything's available all the time. And that just blows everybody's brains, because you're going to go, well, why was I paying taxes? Why was I doing all this? Well, that can't switch by just waking up tomorrow and going, we're in utopia. It's going to switch with a lot of death and destruction. I'm not fear-mongering. I'm not saying death of people. I'm not saying destruction of the world. But death and destruction of old mindsets, old mentalities. And I know that most everyone is tuned off, but if even one person has stayed this long, then I am doing it for you. I'm doing it for that one person. Because it only takes one to start the change. It only takes one idea. It only takes one to start to make a movement. So anyway, yeah, the algorithms are so cool that everybody's just on Facebook. Oh, you got Facebook, you got Instagram, you got, X, you got whatever. What we're not realizing is that some people are using it to get the 50 billion followers and 50 billion likes and subscribers, and you can monetize every single one of them. The other thing is the algorithm works in reverse. And if you have a message like mine or a message that is non-standard, it's super easy for the algorithm to just pigeonhole you, shadow ban you, and your material is not seen. And so I don't mind that. I prefer now, especially in the last 90 days, I prefer the real world, real Mother Nature, getting your feet in the dirt, having the wind hit your face, seeing the sunrise, seeing the sunset, talking face to face with people. And I'm starting to see some of the voices out there. Jim Carrey is one of the voices that I'm talking about here, that has also seen the light and can see how we can be so consumed. One of my other devices, and we have wearable devices, and few people know that Bluetooth was designed to look for satellites. So isn't it kind of funny that here we are walking around on the streets with satellite searching technology that we just plug into our ears and we just wear into our pockets? I mean, I watched a video recently about AI and they say this, but this because AI is decades and decades and decades advanced farther than what most people understand and are being told. But AI can picture inside a house where every person is because of the power grid and the framing of the house. But I'm going to do one better. It's because of the water piping and the airspace in the insulation, and because of our archaic ways of building. Civilization is far superior and far older than we're led on to believe. And so, until everybody else is allowed to catch up, they'll be really, really off the beating path. Opinions like mine or anyone else's out there that you can find if you're looking for it, that will help, hopefully, the information age, help give meaning. Information age, the meaning age. We're influencers. I'm not an influencer, but I'm definitely trying my darndest to help family and friends and new friends with this transition that's going to shock a lot of people. It's going to challenge a lot of beliefs and be difficult to stomach at times, but not to worry, because you have family and friends that are, kind of a little bit more plugged in. So anyway, hope this has been of some entertainment to you, and if so, go ahead and do the thing with the other thing and things. I'd really appreciate it. It really helped the channel. And I am in some way the channel. Anyway, we're going to get back to an impossible mission, because I have only a certain amount of hours in the day to do the things that need to be done, if you know what I'm saying. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. the amazing Mission Impossible 1, where I originally thought I'd be doing some cinematography breakdown or filmmaker breakdown, and I've just seen a few awesome choices, more production and logistical choices, but anyway, that's not what this is turning out to be at the moment. We're going to go with this every day, in every way, and make it better and better and better. So, my channel, that is. But yeah, I love this scene. It's one of the reasons why I have continued to have a passion for filmmaking and storytelling in this medium. Look at these smelly feet. It might take me a day to get through one movie, which will be fine because that's just the cost of doing business. But there's something in storytelling, something called in at least screenplays and in films called the beat. If you're not familiar with it, it's the moment of a line. It's the reason why the line was written, the dialogue or whatever. So there's a few beats here coming up that are lead-ins. Most any good writing is a line to lead into another line, especially even later, so that it's dropping a little hint of things to come. So the scene here is all technological. Tom's breaking into the CIA vault, and it's super secret, and there's all these different layers of complexity for sensitive sound and temperature and lasers and so on and so forth. But Krieger is one of the guys on the team, and he's going to sneeze, and there's like 3 beats there because they're testing out the equipment for the tech that's remotely going to tell, watch this sensitive thing. And so watch this beat reel here. Watch these beats. What?
Toast. Toast.
We're given one. There's 3 beats there. There's a beat. He's itching his nose. He's shaking his head. He sneezes. Beat. 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 Rewipe. Beat. Yeah, so, I mean, on that page, again, back to the filmmaking, most people, you may not know already, so a minute, one page is meant to be about a minute of on-screen entertainment. And so, not that you want to beep, 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 for the whole page, just be punching everybody in the face the whole time, but really good storytelling, really good writing will kind of be that. And the subtext will have multiple plot lines. There'll be an A plot, a B plot, a C plot. Not every story, not every movie is meant to be so complex. Some of it can just be fun. And even in just the fun, there will be the joke and laugh and pause for the audience and laugh and pause for the audience, and this and that, and then some break in all the laughter. So it's the same here. Anyway, that's it. We're gonna go back into the and just to honor the work that Tom does and has always done, and this scene itself. Nice little tidbit. He had to put quarters or British pounds or pennies. I'm not sure the exact, coin used, but he had to put them in his shoes to actually pull this scene off. Because every time they would lower him we're not going to go through this whole real time, but every time they would lower him, in the drop, he would go down real fast. He'd hit his face, which really sucks, of course, and he couldn't land it. They couldn't stick it. So one reason why I chose filmmaking and I wanted to switch here was problem solving. These big budget films, they get greenlit usually off of a script or at least a pitch deck that has the essence of a great movie and great storytellers, front and back or above the line, below the line, however you want to consider it. They're not really going to they're not going to start or be a part of a project unless there's enough there to go, hey, we're going to execute this all the way to the end and get it out to an audience. Why do anything if nobody's ever going to see it in a narrative, entertaining storytelling kind of way? So, just the composition here is so great. You've got a bird's eye view shot where all the pressure's on. Tom's upside down. It's not easy to hang upside down. All the blood is rushing to your head. If you've ever done it, you don't want to do it for long. And some of these scenes take, 10 takes. This was shot in film still back in the day. So they even had the consideration of how much film would be in the can. So how long would the camera allow them to shoot the scene before they had to yell cut and stop and then reset? So yeah, they logistically in pre-production have to do the work to plan every intricate shot, line, previs of everything, because movies can be $400,000 a day. And not to get confused with the way the economies ran, and $400,000 a day is kind of really $40 if you understand the way the dollar has been bastardized. But in today's understanding, $400,000 a day is more than most people make in a lifetime, sadly, and myself included. And so anyway, their camera work in this is really, really compelling. I love the Dutch choices. I love the push-ins. I love the bird's eye views. The cinematography. That's another reason why I chose cinematography. Although I'm not sure where I'll ultimately land. It might be eventually in directing, just wholly directing / producing, but we will find out. Thanks for joining me. This next line is so poignant for today's day and age. My channel and my topics are not really going to be political, and I'm not trying to be polarizing in any way, but a lot of people fall into the narrative traps of whatever their media source is, and I challenge myself all the time to try to not fall victim of the same thing. And so here we are at the very beginning of Impossible Mission Force, or better known to most everybody as Mission Impossible. And here is a statement that might ring more true than any other statement I've heard in this whole movie. But here we go. Just take a second and listen to this. Why, Jim?
Why? When you think about it, Ethan, it was inevitable. No more Cold War. No more secrets you keep from everyone but yourself. Operations you answer to no one but yourself. And one day, you wake up, the President of the United States is running the country without your permission. The son of a bitch, how dare he? And you realize it's over. You're an obsolete piece of hardware not worth upgrading. You got a lousy marriage, 62 grand a year. Kittredge will go after the no good son of a bitch big time.
I know this is quite a lot to stomach, 35 minutes into the video, but I'm thoroughly impressed with the writing. I can't say this is a second viewing. This is probably a 20th viewing over the years, but and now more excited than ever with Dead Reckoning Part 2, that is going to kind of, I think, capstone the whole 8-film series. I don't know that Tom will be doing another one after this. This might conclude, 9-film series, because they bookend the end with 2, bookend is in the beginning, is the first one we're watching today. And then, like in a very similar way to Harry Potter, they and other films have done this, where the last is such a big story that they want to cut it in half. They film it simultaneously, give you the first part, chunk, give you the second part. But there's a lot of talk of, in the narrative that I'm following, which is the non-standard narrative, empires fall at about every 250 years. So I'm a proud American going on near 30 years of service to the country, active and inactive. And in the exponential age, this explosion of technology and resource and all this, goods and services, this is so poignant, that statement he just made, that you are, $86,000 a year, which is a lot of money for some, and you find yourself in a broken marriage, which I've been divorced now 3 times, if you count one that was non-official marriage, but more than basically a decade of my life and love. And I mean, just look at Tom's face right here. I just randomly froze this here, but the weight of the world sitting on anybody's shoulders these days, it's understandable with what we're facing. And I don't know, can I zoom in? Yeah. I mean, he's pulling back, he's thinking, he's digesting. Man, talk about an actor. He's one of the best all time. So anyway, we're almost done with this film. 40 minutes in. I didn't think we'd be making an hour today, but I'm just going to continue to let the dices roll as they may, and learn from every bit that I am doing here, and refine. So anyway, we are fine. I'm not a crook. Which, let me pause, because that statement rings more and more true for me, not personally, but when Nixon said it, he was in a system. He's part of a system. He's making a play. He's got to do a job. And Nixon had to take the world off the gold standard, because certain forces behind the curtain there had already taken monetary policy off the rails, and until the light is shown to the masses, and anybody want to go one-on-one, I could give you the abridged version in probably under 10 minutes. But yeah, this is very, very powerful. It's not just eye candy, and it's not just, entertainment and action for entertainment's sake. There is deeper messaging here. So anyway, I hope you're all enjoying this. Let's get back at it. In a really strange turn of events in the last quarter of my life, I have come to an opinion that there is no coincidences in life. Nothing in life is a coincidence. But, I just wanted to share that. It's not anything that you have to believe or not believe. But anyway, let me just show you one reason why I think that.
I can see that. Did you check the back?
Should have had this queued up, but anyway. I'm going to go back a little bit further. Sorry about that. They're downloading the knock list.
Dear boy. I hope this doesn't preclude a meeting in private.
As long as you tell me where the money is.
The mere possibility is worth 10 million. Package car rack 3. Silver briefcase combination 314.
Pause. So they said combination 314, right? I am in one of the most beautiful locations, the Lake House in Connecticut. And I grew up here. And you'll see behind me, let me flip it. Not in order 314, but you have 341. So it's just a coincidence. But the life changes that I've experienced in the last 90 days, and my passion for storytelling and for life, love, and the pursuit of liberty has been, let's say, adjusted in such a way that is undeniable. It just tickles me that was just a password in a movie that I'm trying to begin setting my channel up for. And then I've already been on thinking how coincidence is funny, not funny sometimes. As a young man, when I first joined the service, I was, I stated it previously, but the Air Force, there's something called a 341, which is the exact 341 that's on the house there. In that it was a piece of paper, an old analog, archaic document that you have to carry physically on your body as you were allowed some freedoms to roam around the base. And I just wanted to share with you guys, because if you didn't join, most people don't know anything about the military. Only 1% of our nation raised their hand to serve. That, when I learned that fact, it was like mind-blowing to me. There's the whole 1% that control 99% of the world's money and assets and wealth and resource. It's all kind of the same. And there's 99% of the rest of the world that I fall into, and most of my, if anybody's still watching or ever watches any of my stuff, will be in. 99% of the people in the world only control 1% of the world's money and assets, and 1% of the world control 99% of the world's money and assets. And as I started to approach 50 and learned these factoids, it forever put a divide in my mind of where I fit and where I will fit in the next 50 years. You know, there's something called a 100-year plan. And I've lived the first 50 of my 100-year plan where I wasn't planning anything. And I fully intend to live the next 50 in a planned manner, even though this last quarter, has been somewhat unplanned internally for myself, but I think was planned for sure by a higher power. And it's my purpose now and full-on drive and intent to take my family into the next 100 years, where I should be around for at least 50, God willing. And then know confidently that the family will be safe and protected on to the next 50, and someone else will have to take over. But anyway, that's just so kismet. So if you're still with me, I hope you're having a wonderful day. I really appreciate the time that you have spent here, and this will be wrapped up for sure within the next 15 minutes. I will not go past an hour. So anyway, there's long form content and short form content, and I'm going to continue to make content and content and content. So here we go. Back at it.
I'll meet you there.
This is a tracking shot with a good option for wipe, which is a cuttable position. It's very difficult to edit this stuff without pre-planning. It's very important to go into it with, you know, an idea of what you're hoping to see. That's why they storyboard heavily all the beats that I was talking about earlier and all the possible shot angles, because on any given day you might have to make adjustments, and if you've done all this work ahead of time, the adjustments are easier to make. Otherwise, it's you take the whole show and you put the brakes on, and that's a lot of lost money, you know. You always have to have the masks, and there's a long running joke later on with Simon Pegg about the masks and him becoming a field agent.
I'm very sorry to hear you say that, Claire.
Ethan.
Yes. Ethan Hunt, darling. You remember him, don't you?
You knew about Jim.
Of course. Just exactly when he knew was something of a question. And you were the answer. I knew about Jim, but he didn't know about you. In all fairness, Ethan, Claire was never convinced her charms would work on you. But I was supremely confident, having tasted the goods. How shall we?
They handle the topic of infidelity quite well, with class, I believe, in my opinion. This last scene is so cool. Most everybody's probably seen this. Spoilers if you haven't, but you know, the end where has the knife, the blade, the tip of the blade right at his neck is so crazy. Careening through the channel, you have the helicopter in the channel This is so funny though. I mean, so it's they pull it off amazingly. But John Voight, this is the last time I think really he's ever could be believable as a action star, and no disrespect to Mr. Voight, he's a legend, and perfectly cast, and does amazing in this whole film. But just saying that, here at the very end, how well they pull off him, whatever his age was at the time of this film. It's so believable and looks so good. And I just want to point out that the channel operator there, he's on the phone, and as soon as the helicopter went in, he's like, "Speed up, speed up!" So to further threaten to further press the intensity. And here we are. What's his name? Krieger. Him forever wanting to be the nemesis to Tom. Boom. I think this is the Back to the Future sounds. And then go right into the theme music. Here we go. Man, I almost wonder how many times they've resisted, oh shoot, the callback to that, and if we'll get any series Easter egg, whole series Easter egg in the last one, if it is the last one. In true Hollywood fashion, the end perfectly, where our hero is narrowly missed, and there's a, oh my god.
Hello, Max.
My lawyers are going to have a field day with this. Entrapment, jurisdictional conflict.
Maybe we'll just leave the courts out of this one.
I'm sure we can find something I have that you need.
In a freak accident, a helicopter lost altitude, veered into a tunnel, and collided with a high-speed train on its way from London to Paris.
I'd like to point out right now, as I end this show, and I diverted a few times here and there, that you could see perfectly. Let me just go. They're backing away, and we're watching the news. You're in a pub. Woo. Woo. Bless me. Sorry about that. You're in a pub, and it's all narrative. This is just a fun, nothing I say is financial advice or anything anybody needs to change how they think for it. But there was a mission, and the news can just shape. In a freak accident on the channel today, a helicopter veered into the tunnel. Now, in recent history, we've had boats run into bridges. We've had boats do U-turns in channels, in the Panama Canal. You have the C-19. So, the phrase conspiracy theory was made popular so that people could say things and then it could be easily dismissed by the masses. But if you wanted to kind of just open your mind up a little bit and not be spoon-fed some of the BS that is entertainment purposes only. Some of the real world events that can sometimes be explained right out of your mind real fast, but could definitely have more nefarious or more powerful an impact on world order and world events, world understanding. It's partially why you're probably still here. Not that I will get maybe even one viewer to go all the way to the end. And if you are still here with me now, you are my audience. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. I am eternally grateful. I'm going to go ahead and end this now, save us all a little bit of time for the hour, and give back. So enjoy the day. Please don't forget, like, subscribe, follow, leave a comment below, or direct message me on any of the platforms. Easy to find, probably too easy. So take care, everybody. Cheers. Have a great one. Enigma out.